ever felt like the government doesn't care what you think despite voting and holding your politicians accountable, there's a new study out that confirms those exact fears. They don't care about what policies you'd like to see enacted, and now there's proof. Two Princeton professors, Gielens and Page, found that the number of Americans for or against any policy idea has no impact on the likelihood that Congress will make it law.
Now, most Americans would probably agree that, with a few exceptions, we should be as close to this ideal as possible. Unfortunately, the way America actually works doesn't even come close. Take an idea that nobody supports, literally nobody, and it has about a 30% chance of becoming federal law. Now, take an incredibly popular idea, the most popular idea this country has ever seen, and there's also about a 30% chance of it becoming law.
Quote, the preferences of the average American appear to have only a minuscule, near zero, statistically non-significant impact upon public policy. Can you guess the one thing that does? I'm going to assume you said money, and once again, you'd be correct. The study notes that, quote, while the opinions of the bottom 90% of income earners in America have a statistically non-significant impact, economic elites, business interests, and people who can afford lobbyists still carry major influence. In the last 5 years, the 200 most politically active companies in the US spent just under $6 billion influencing our government with lobbying and campaign contributions. The study points out just how much money in politics has gotten out of control, and that's because election costs are skyrocketing. Politicians of both parties now are more dependent than ever on the tiny portion of the population who can bankroll their campaigns. So the study includes a couple more jarring details, like the fact that to win a Senate seat back in 2014, candidates had to raise $14,351 every single day. Just 0.05% of Americans donated more than $10,000 in any election, so it's pretty clear where candidates will turn first and then who they're then indebted to when they win. Elected officials spend 30 to 70% of their time in office fundraising for the next election. All of this means that we in America do not live in a democracy, but an oligarchy. Republican, Democrat, it doesn't matter. The issues facing working people are no match for moneyed interests. This follows larger societal trends of the widening gap between rich and poor. Some studies actually suggest and prove that this wealth gap today in the US is greater than it was in late 18th century France, which, if you know anything about the 1790s there, was not a very peaceful time. But it doesn't seem like our politicians care that in centuries past, this type of neglect of the poor led to literal heads being chopped off. The Democrats aren't above this. While people suffer, they give us empty platitudes and handshakes to former detested Republicans with performances of Hamilton songs in the background. But the fact that things in America are worse than they were in historical eras infamous for their egregious wealth gaps like the French Revolution and the Gilded Age should give us leverage and the guts to keep demanding a total change in how our government works. We are firmly living in an oligarchy, so while talking heads lament the death of democracy at the hands of just the Republican Party, it's important to hold the Democratic Party just as accountable. Thanks so much for watching. You can follow me on all platforms at Caro Johnson 917.